is the last negative rebuttal of today's debate round, and I will just be going over the affirmative team's ideas and showing you how they are not only harming the status quo, but making it worse, and how our plan actually helps Israel. Now we must look at what the facts say about their case, what the facts say about our counterplan and why it's better, and why their case will actually be harming Israeli economy and Israeli as a whole. Now, first off, as my partner brought up, our ideas, our logic, what we think is happening, don't change the observable facts. Now, I would like to bring to your attention that they haven't brought up a single piece of counter-evidence to any of our points except for what was contained in the 1AC, and none of them addressed the evidence that we actually brought up ourselves, except for the piece that we both had. We actually stated multiple sources stating that the Buy U.S. requirement is causing Israeli industry harm, and they said, no, it's not, but they didn't bring up a single piece of evidence refuting that argument. So our argument still stands, because evidence supersedes logic. Logic is important, yes, but evidence, what we can see, what we can prove, supersedes what we can think. And because the affirmative team has the burden of proof in today's debate round, that in order to win this debate round, they must prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are actually helping the status quo and improving the goal. Because they are not doing this, the negative team should win in today's debate round, as our counter plan actually improves the status quo and is helping Israel. Also, I would like to bring up that we are not stopping missile defense, and we are not stopping cooperation with Israel, as the affirmative team would like you to think by ending aid, somehow we are stopping missile defense and cooperation. Remember, these have nothing to do with foreign military aid, and therefore is not a valid argument, because they have nothing to do with the aid that we are proposing to end. Also, Israel is rich enough to cooperate, but not quite ready to be taken off the aid. That is why we are giving them the 5 year off the Buy U.S. requirement to kind of recuperate and become ready and become independent of our aid and become self-reliant within that 5 years. The 2018 argument, like why are we saying we end it in 2018 whenever that's already when that is already written, set in stone, we're going to do that, is not a valid argument, because that is not what we're changing. We're not changing the end date. We're changing what happens between now and the end date. We're getting rid of the Buy U.S. requirement so Israel can build a stronger economy in the meantime. So that way, whenever 2018 comes, we'll be ready to stop giving them aid, and they'll be ready to stand on their own. Also, how they said, what about all the nations surrounding them that hate them? Well, that doesn't really make a difference in today's debate round, as we are not abandoning Israel. We will still be allies with them, and we will still be aiding them in a time of war. However, they are rich enough and technologically advanced enough to become their own nation, become self-reliant. And as they said, the difference between Britain and Israel is that Britain's been around a very long time, and Britain is very strong. Well, yes, but Israel's been around a while too, not as long as Britain, but Israel is actually one of the best militaries in the world right now, and is in the top 10 of military suppliers around the world. And we believe that Britain will be able to, given the chance, given this 5 years off of the Buy U.S. requirement that is hurting them, they will be able to stand on their own at the end of 2018. So basically, what the affirmative team is doing is that they have the same harms, they have the same goal as us, and we have even brought up a counter goal that we accomplish better than they do, as well as their own goal that they brought up. So what they're doing is agreeing with us. We've proposed a counter criterion that they still can't uphold. They can't uphold their own goal, and we're actually bettering both of the goals, ours and theirs. So at the end of today's debate round, I would like you judges to decide what will bring Israel more maturity, what will help Israel become self-reliant, staying on the aid and further damaging their economy between now and 2018, or giving them the chance to stand on their own and be able to build up their economy so they will be ready to be a mature and independent nation by the end of 2018. Thank you, and I strongly urge a negative ballot at the end of today's debate.